Delightful viewers, welcome back once again to the channel. I'm DJ and electronic music producer Shauny Walker. Today we're continuing to look at the AKAI Professional MPC KEY 37 synthesizer and diving deeper into the world of music production. In the previous video part 1, we looked at the unboxing experience and product design. Now we will take it a step further by exploring how to register the AKAI MPC KEY 37 synthesizer and uncovering its connectivity features. Additionally, we will touch on the exciting sound design capabilities and user navigation experience built into the powerhouse of a synthesizer. If you are enjoying these series and you find this content valuable, please care to click subscribe at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell for future content updates. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, we need to be prepared. We will need to have access to a computer, whether a Mac or a PC, and an internet suitable stable connection, so that we're allowed to register the product online through the AKAI Professional website. Plus, there are some special features that AKAI have in store for us. So, let's not waste any time and let's get on with it. First things first, we will need to have access to a computer. I will be demonstrating on a Windows platform using a Razer Blade machine. So let's hop onto the web browser and log on to the AKAI Professional website. Opening a web browser, we log on to the akai.com. From there we can click onto the product of MPC KEY 37, or we can go directly into the account menu sub-tab. Next we'll need to create an inMusic account and enter information. In this case I already have an account. Here we will register our product and it will show up in our inMusic account profile. We can then view our downloads for the MPC KEY 37. At the top of the list we can see a special free standalone plugin offer for first-time registered users. We will get to that in a moment. Next is the manual section including firmware updates, software downloads for MPC 2.0 desktop. In total there are 9 complete exclusive sound libraries to download and utilize into the MPC software. The AKAI Professional MPC 2.0 software is a very integral part of the AKAI music production ecosystem. Before we delve into the software installation process, let's take a moment to revisit our hardware inputs. Understanding the physical connections of MPC KEY 37 is essential in maximizing its capacity for performing and playability. As we take a look at the back panel of the AKAI Professional MPC KEY 37, we're greeted with an array of connectivity options, each serving a specific purpose. Starting from the left, we have the expressions pedal input, next to it the foot switch 2 input, and next to it sustain pedal input, catering to various expression and control needs. Moving along, we see that we have the 5 traditional pin MIDI output and input, facilitating connections with external MIDI devices for expanded musical possibilities. Adjacent to the MIDI ports, we find 4 CV gate mono outputs, offering a total of 8 outputs, ideal for interfacing with modular synthesizers and other CV-enabled gear. Next to it, for personal monitoring, there is a headphone input, ensuring that you can listen to your sources and creations without disturbing others. Next to it, we also have the quarter-mains output, providing a convenient way to connect to studio monitors or amplifiers for playback. In our case, we have it connected to the sound source for recording demonstration. Additionally, we have 2 quarter inputs for versatile audio routing, along with a recording knob that is ideal for gain of the precise input control levels. A standout feature is an SD card slot offering expandable storage capabilities for samples, projects, adding flexibility to the workflow. Turning our attention to connectivity, we see that there's 2 USB ports. There is a USB Type A and USB Type B, facilitating connectivity with computers, MIDI controllers, and external storage devices. Lastly, we have the power adapter, ensuring reliable power delivery to the MPC KEY 37. Notice that there is a round knob to secure the power cable. This minimizes the risk of accidental disconnection during live performances and showcasing AKAI's attention to detail in design. Now that we've explored the extensive connectivity options of AKAI's MPC KEY 37 synthesizer, let's proceed to setting it up for optimal performance. So now we can continue downloading the MPC software. Once we have the in software, we'll extract it and then choose our MPC hardware. Then we will install the MPC software accepting the license agreement. Next, we will select the components of the VST instruments and we will continue next, and then click on Next for additional tasks, and then install once MPC setup is completed. We will then have to restart our computer. After the installation setup, once we begin the installation, we'll give it a moment and then we'll finish and reboot our computer. Once rebooting the computer, we'll open up MPC, and then what will happen is a software activation is prompted, which will be required to input the activation code. We have this activation code when we register our product, so we have to save it and enter into the license account. From there we will create an iLOK account automatically. It is a free account setup, and then we will sign into account. Next, we can download the MPC Essential Sound Libraries, which are very high quality instruments for the MPC 2.0 software. You can click Extract and then Install. Also, we'll need to select a location for the software iLOK registration. Firewall security may prompt you to accept, which you should allow access to. When the MPC software is open, it will prompt you that there are new plugin instruments available, and we can go to Remind Me later. Then in the File Edit Preferences tab, we will click on to Activate Plugins. From there we will log into our inMusic profile, which we created earlier to have access from our inMusic profile account online. Next, we can look into the iLOK account, which is connected. It is important that we log into our inMusic profile account. AKAI Pro will ask us to have access to our inMusic profile account, which we will accept. Upon continuing, AKAI Pro will have successfully signed in. Before we power up the MPC Key 37 professional synthesizer, it's highly advisable to look into a micro SD card or an SD card of your choice. In my case, we have a Team Group 128GB SD card, micro SD card with the adapter. So we will be inserting this into the MPC Key 37 SD card slot. This will allow us to enter our plugins, and software plugins will be updated through the external storage. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now that we have inserted the SD card, we can go ahead and power up the unit. Once we power up the MPC Key 37, we come up with an MPC operating system page as it loads. Next, we are greeted with the MPC Key 37 welcome page. Here we will tap on the Next button. The synthesizer prompts us to connect to the internet to check for the latest software update. Click Let's Go. Click Remind Me Later. We will click on Empty Project. Then we will click onto the main page. This will bring us into the Preferences home page. And here we will click on Preferences. So now that we are in our preference page, we will want to click onto the Wi-Fi network settings. Here, we proceed by selecting the network available from the options. In my case, I chose the network label Cloud9. This is my personal network connection, and yours will be accordingly to what is available. Once we have our network, we click Connect. It will prompt us to enter our password for the network, which we will proceed. Once we have entered our password, we click on the Do It button at the bottom right-hand corner. This sets the MPC on course to establish the connection to the chosen network, which we are now connected to the Wi-Fi. Next, it's showing us that our information for the MPC firmware has been updated. So now we are running 2.13.0. This is the latest firmware update that AKAI has installed into the operating system. If there is a new update available from the AKAI Pro website through inMusic login, we can go ahead and click Update. To be sure, let's click on Update. We have three options: Online Update, USB Drive Update, Switch to Update Mode. In our case, since we have the Wi-Fi, we can proceed by connecting to the Online Update. Now it indicates that the MPC Key 37 update information is running the latest version of the MPC operating system. So we can go ahead and click OK. Now, with our MPC Key 37 now primed and connected, we're poised to dive into the exciting world of music production with confidence and enthusiasm. If we click on the main, we will jump into the section where we can load our preset instruments. Now, if we click on Sounds, we can see that there are sound instruments available for us. In this case, The MPC Key 37 is loaded with the 8 plugins. What we want to do is make sure that we have plugin that's available for us to download. Back on the AKAI Pro product account, we can open up the free plugin offer. In this section, we can choose from 10 different plugins available for us as first-time registered users. Out of the 10 exciting plugins to choose from, the AIR Jura is the one we will be choosing. A recreation of Roland's Juno 60 sought-after synthesizer from the early 80s. AIR being the developer called the plugin Jura, as in Juno Roland AIR. Let's take a moment to look at it. To redeem our plugin offer, we need to redeem the voucher code and copy this. Then we will head into the checkout and enter the coupon code. Before we hit apply, we can go back to MPC software. Check in our file, edit preferences to see and activate plugins. To log into our inMusic account profile, which we accept once we have successfully logged in. We'll go back to our account activate plugins section. Here we can see that there are plugins that are activated except Jura. So going back into the MPC account checkout, we enter our code and enter our payment details, even though this is a free plugin offer. Once we hit apply, we are brought to a page where we can download our Jura plugin instrument. Note that there are two versions, one for Mac and one for PC. We will choose the first one, which is the .exe file, as it is for the PC platform. We will continue next installing the Jura, and finish and then go back into MPC. Empty project, File, Edits, Preferences. Then we will click on to Activate Plugins, and from there we will scroll down and we can see that Jura plugin is now activated. We can go ahead and close this and exit our MPC Software 2.0. From our desktop we see that the Jura plugin instrument is available. We click on it and allow access if firewall security is prompting. Then it will have a prompt to get the ASIO driver, which we'll accept and will take us to the ASIO for All official home site. From there we can choose the appropriate language to install the file, and once we have it downloaded we can open the file and install it. Accept the agreement, the destination folder directory for where you want to store it, and then click Next to install. We can continue back to our instrument, and we will see that the AIR authentication to activation product is prompted, which we will accept activate. Once it is authorizing, it is activated in our account and we can open up the VST instrument. On our desktop we have it as a standalone VST. So now we can look at the graphic user interface and see the different sections of the UI layout. DCO noise, chorus noise. These are the vintage settings that we can choose from. We can also, on the top left-hand corner, choose the keyboard icon that brings us our keybed for the plugin. We can close the program now and head back into the MPC Key 37 hardware. Now that we have redeemed our MPC Key 37 plugin, in our case Jura, we can now turn on the unit and see in Preferences where our plugin is activated. If not, we will have to activate it manually. Here it's showing that our connection is connected to the Wi-Fi Cloud 9. So we don't need to enter our credentials, and we can go back to Activate Plugins. Here we will need to log in to activate our profile. Once we have this information, we will want to jump onto our PC and we will want to enter the code to log in. So let's go ahead and quickly do that to establish the connection. We enter the URL device.akaipro.com, enter our code, submit. Then log into our inMusic profile account, sign in. At this point, AKAI has successfully signed into our account. Once we've entered the code, the MPC Key 37 automatically logs in through the Wi-Fi network. Since we've redeemed our plugins in the case of Jura, we will scroll down and see where it is available. Here it says Jura is available, so what we will need to do is we'll need to activate the plugin in order to have the plugin installed in standalone mode on the MPC Key 37. So we'll go ahead and click Activate. Now that the plugin is activated, we'll need to install it onto the MPC Key 37. In this case, we've installed the SD card, so that's where the information will lie. Now we need to install extracting the files onto the MPC Key 37 SD card, which is inserted into the synthesizer. So we'll go ahead and download the actual plugin. We'll take a moment to wait for its download process. Now we can see that the plugin has actually been installed into the MPC Key 37. In order for us to check if it's actually there, we click onto the Sounds button. And here we can see that voila, it is Jura. Here we can access what plugins we have available for us. We have the options to test out some of the plugin trials, but in our case, let's see what we have. Installed already is the Hype, the Mellotron, the Selena, the Odyssey, and then it's giving us options to download the Air Expander, the Multi-Tap Delay, the Air Vintage Filter, and the Air Chorus. What we can do is download these directly. You'll see that now it's downloading the Air Chorus directly to the SD card. It's activated and it's initialized. Now we can go into the Air Vintage Filter and do the same for the other two plugins. Here it extracts it to the SD card. We will be looking at the navigating features. One of the great features on the MPC Key 37 and MPC 2.0 software is the addition of audio track recording. MPC 2.0 and standalone MPC Key 37 will have a total of track limit of 128. Keep in mind, this is still subject to systems limitations and CPU constraints. The MPC Key 37 will only support 8 audio tracks and 8 plugin programs at a time in standalone mode. The system specifications of the MPC Key 37 has its own embedded system which supports a quad-core ARM processor, 2 GB of RAM, 4 internal storage, and the MPC Key 37 has 32 GB of onboard storage. Here we will look at our main sequence mode track selection page. Here we have our sequence, our track, and our plugin program information. To our right we have our transport control buttons, which are 5 buttons: record, overdub, stop, play, and play start. We can also access our metronome. And here with our metronome, we can also change the metronome value of the main volume. In metronome, we have a count and record. And we also have the enable record, which can be enable record plus play or record. We'll leave it on record. We can also choose to record plus play for count in, or we can turn it to off. In this case, we'll leave it on to record. So now we can click X, and we can also change the tempo by tapping the beats per minute. Double tapping will allow us to get into the parameters of the beats per minute. We can navigate up or down. So in this case, we want 123. We have 123 beats per minute. And what we would do is we will click to do it. The other way of doing it is by tap tempoing. So if we tap on the tap tempo, it will actually adjust the beats per minute. In this case, we will go back and we want to go to 123 beats per minute. And we'll click on to do it. Now let's try to record some sounds and get an idea of what the Jura plugin sounds like with the abandoned preset. Sounds very nice. So underneath our main volume, we have our octave, which is minus or plus. So we can go down the scale. We'll leave it at the standard default and let's try to record a little sequence here. What we will do is we will hit record and then we will hit play start, and that will give us an 8-bar measure count in so that we can begin the recording process. So say we like that and we want to add something else to that variation. We can click on track and we can scroll down to the unused column, which is track 2, and we can go back to our sounds and say we would like to add more of the Jura and with the abandoned preset. What we can do is add an overdub to that. So we'll go back to our main page and we'll click on the overdub and we'll hit play start. Great. If we're fine with that and we want to add more, we can click on track 2 and scroll to the third unused selection. Then we can click on back to sounds and we can now choose a different instrument. So in this case, let's choose the tube synth. It asks us to replace plugin program plugin 001. This program is used in 3 tracks. Assigning a new plugin will alter all of them. Do you want to create a new program in this track instead? So in this case, we'll create a new program. This now brings up the preset architecture sound design for the tube synth. What we can do is we can pick either a rich swell, synth, lead, pluck, pad, bass, organ, effects, or initial patch. We will want to pick a bass for the low end frequency. It gives us tube synth's architecture presets for the bass. What we can do now is select a preset, and in this case we'll click maybe a spike bass and get a sound feel for it. Maybe we want to change into a long dyno res bass. Or maybe a fat res bass. Okay, if we like that, we want to go an octave down. Okay, that's great. Now we want to add it to our sequence. So let's go back to the main, and now we're going to do a record. And we're going to hit play start with an 8-bar intro to begin. Great, it's sounding good now. Now we want to add some more variation to it. Maybe in this case we want to add some percussion sounds. So what we can do is click on this icon here, which is our drum pad. This will bring us to the new program, and this is our drum program. If we click onto drum program and we click onto sounds, it will give us the factory expansions for the drum programs. We can click on factory expansions and that'll bring us to our MPC factory content. By clicking on this, it gives us our MPC factory content for the drum programs. These are the different kits that are in the program. So we can go through something we like. Maybe we want a Berlin 128 beat per minute preset. So what we would do is we click on this, and this will now load into the sequence here. Here we can use our 16 drum pads to access Berlin 128 beats per minute. To get a feel what it sounds like, we can go through it. So if we like this type of preset and we want to add it to our sequence, All we have to do is go back to our main and now play to get an idea. Okay, say we want to add the Berlin 128 beat per minute sequence drum preset. Let's go and try to record this. So what we do is we hit record again and we go to play start with 8-bar intro, and then following we'll take our recording. Now I made a mistake there, but let's go and see what it sounds like. Not bad. So now we want to overdub with what we have. So let's go ahead and overdub and hit play start. By double clicking stop, you actually kill everything. So you don't have any of the after effect of the sound. For example, the trail end of the sound continues, whereas if you hit play, and if you double tap stop, it just shuts out everything. The other thing we can look at is the grid view. Here in the grid view of track number 4, we can see our patterns. This is our main page, and say we want to adjust the different parameters, say of track 1. We can go into track 1, and we can go into the edit mode. This will take us into the Jura plugin. Here in the Jura plugin, we can actually start to go over the specific parameters. Some of the parameters available for us is the chorus, the envelope 1, envelope 2, and the different types of level of cutoff, envelope, LFO frequency. Now that we've explored some of the MPC Key 37 features, it's truly an inspiring machine. The MPC Key 37 is capable of doing a lot without the DAW. This was just a brush on what the MPC sounds like with some of the instruments and getting to know a little bit about the user navigation. In the following video, we'll explore more about the song sequencing and the actual crux of how to get a song composition together. Hope you've enjoyed this. And there you have it, the AKAI MPC KEY 37 synthesizer. We looked at how we can set up the synthesizer, register it, include the plugin, as well as connectivity options and sound design capabilities, as well as the user navigation interface. If you did enjoy this type of content, please care to click subscribe at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell for future content updates. In the next one, part 3, we'll be exploring more about the remixing capabilities and actual sound composition. So till next time, happy music making, and see you on the next one.